These are the CJs, one of Gateron's linear switches which have really spiked in popularity in the last few months. To be honest, Gateron has made a lot of good linears in the past year or so. Think about it: Gateron Box Black Ink, Vermillion Birds, Azure Dragons, Oil Kings, CJs, Pro Yellows, and so on. Honestly, I can't wait to see what else does Gateron bring onto the table in the near future. Anyways, getting back on track, these switches are priced at 60 cents a switch on Divinity. The cost might vary depending upon vendor and region, so just be careful. They cost almost as much as Vermilion Birds and the Oil Kings, so if you're considering buying the CJs, you might want to check those out too. So the switch has a palm bottom housing, a 60-gram spring, a standard palm stem, and a recolored top housing of a box black ink. One thing to keep in mind is that these switches are not factory lubed, but they are still really smooth. They actually are smoother than my lubed tangerines and black inks. This is probably because it has a polished stem and bottom housing, and you definitely don't want to lube these because A. These switches are buttery smooth, so why do you want to waste 3 to 4 hours of your life anyways? And B. Because it sort of ruins the switch. You might be thinking, how can lubing a switch ruin it? Well, because the stem is polished, and when you lube a polished stem, you ruin the polish effectively. But what you probably should do is lube the spring and maybe the leaf, because these switches have a little bit of spring crunch and ping, which lubing fixes. I also changed the springs with some D-Rock long springs because I was sort of used to using the box black inks, which have a long spring which makes the switch a little bit more snappy. These switches also don't need any films, which means that these can basically be used stock. These switches are really tight, and by that I mean the switch has really good tolerances and there is very little stem wobble. The only one aspect which I don't love about these switches is that they have a really sharp high pitched sound, and although I'm a clacky switch fan, I don't like it much. I mean, it's fine when I'm wearing headphones because that tends to cut off the high-end sounds of these switches, but without headphones these switches sound really sharp. Now one thing you could do to make this better is loop the top housing at the point at which the stem meets the top housing. This also makes the switch sort of talky, so just listen to this. So in conclusion, what can I say? This is a really good switch. The one thing that people might not like about these switches is that they are sort of clacky. So if you're one of them, I would recommend checking out the Oil Kings because they're said to be a little bit deeper. So that's the video and I hope you liked it. If you know any other switches I might be interested in, leave them down in the comments section and I'll take a look at those. And with that said, bye.